Hey guys, it's Danny. Alrighty, today is very early. From now on, at least for a while, we're gonna film videos early in the morning because right across the street, they're redoing roads. So excuse my very early voice, but today I'm gonna show you what I'm up to in the terrace because I'm up to no good. I decided I wanna do something with that terrace, grow some plants, some beautiful flowers. Not to mention the garden centers here are just full, so I wanna have some flowers too. I have the space, so why not? But before I show you what I'm up to in the terrace, let's talk a little bit about the African violets because I'm noticing this morning something I've never seen on African violets. So let's get you in closer and see what's going on. Now, as you can see, my African violets are growing pretty nice, but I'm not sure if you can spot what's wrong. Maybe not. My African violets are producing what in the orchid hobby we call happy sap. It's actually just sap exuding from the leaves. And I looked at all of them and they are all producing happy sap. Now the funny thing is, I just watered these African violets yesterday and I also fertilized them. I gave them quite the hefty dose, I guess. I'm using orchid fertilizer with them as well, and I just used the normal dose that I would give to my orchids. And this was yesterday, and behold, today we have happy sap. Now this happy sap is not necessarily super happy. It doesn't mean an orchid generally is happy and healthy, but it does mean one thing. It means it gets hydration. So that's why we are pretty happy when we see happy sap on orchids. It just means they are photosynthesizing and they're directing this food to the new growth. On orchids, most of the happy sap occurs on flower spikes, on new growth, on the underside of the leaves, and so on. So it's a pretty good sign when we see it. It doesn't mean the orchid is virus-free or disease-free in any way, but it is photosynthesizing quite rapidly. And behold, this is what my African violets are doing as well. Thing is, I have never seen happy sap on African violets before, not even on my mother's African violets. Now, in the case of orchids, as we might already know, the sap exudes mainly from new growth, and some orchids are more prone to produce it, like the catasetums, while others not so much. Cattleyas are very known to produce this sap on flower spikes, on buds and everything, and sometimes we need to remove it because it's just so much, it's starting to affect the bud. The leaves are not necessarily very affected, generally speaking, and some people suggest it is insect damage. Well, there is an easy way to contradict that. When sap is produced only on the underside of the leaves or flower spikes and flowers, especially on the new growth, and in some cases only on the new growth, you can make the logical assumption that the orchid is promoting all of her energy towards the new growth, whatever that new growth might be. Also, the fact that it is produced only on the underside of the leaf only tells you that it is exuding from the pores. An orchid doesn't have its breathing mechanism on top of the leaf, but under it, right where the sap is coming from. So if it were insect damage, the sap would have to show on the upper side of the leaf because it means that the cuticle was broken. However, if you never see happy sap on the upper side of the leaf, then it means that the cuticle is intact, there is nothing grazing on it, therefore you don't have a pest infestation. Taking a close look at the African violets, I can see the sap is only produced at the edge of the leaf and mainly on new leaves. There is no sap on the top of the leaves. I also even checked the underside and there isn't any sap. So even with the African violets, we cannot say it is a pest. It's simply sap exuding. But this is the very first time that I see this. I was not aware that they can produce this. Is it a good sign? Definitely, because it means they are photosynthesizing at such a rapid pace that sap is actually exuding. And not only, they are actually receiving the adequate quantity of nutrients. Nitrogen and magnesium directly form chlorophyll that makes photosynthesis possible, while others play a major role in cell production or the cell wall and even help in regulating breathing. I can only assume this is the fertilizers doing, coupled with the light, because they do photosynthesize, and of course the water. So as far as I'm concerned, this is an amazing sign. And just for the funsies, I'm gonna show you on the screen now a video that my mom took with her African violets. I will tell her next time to make a landscape video, but there you go. My mom's African violets are the best violets I've ever seen, and I really do hope I achieve the same results. Also on the screen, you will see one of the Phalaenopsis that I left behind. It was severely attacked by mites, and you can see the old damage. It was treated with hairspray, and lo and behold, at the beautiful new leaf. So the treatment with the hairspray works as long as we don't have dry sheets, but the point were the African violets, which I have to say look very, very good in the place of the orchids. Do you remember my old balcony? That shelf was full of orchids. Now it is full of African violets. So with my African violets, the next step is to divide them because they're already pretty crowded in the pot. But before I do that, I do want to prepare the pots, and I'll show you on the terrace what I want to do with them. Because I will use the clay pots that I have 100 of them. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. Might as well reuse them, but with a twist. Okay, so here we are on the terrace. You might recognize this shelving. Since I purchased the IKEA tables for inside the greenhouse, I moved these shelves outside. And behold, we have some plants here. Now, those are some succulents that I received from Zane. These are my old cacti, and if you're wondering what happened to the cuttings that I took last year, well, they kind of died because this medium from Compo is absolutely horrible. Could never make it retain any type of water, and in the end, they kind of died off, but it's okay. We're gonna take new cuttings, and we're gonna do better this time. So yeah, we're gonna do a video about male thyme as well, but Zane, they're doing really great. Only one died. It was the long stem. It arrived to me already desiccated and died. But all of them, the others, survived, and they look really pretty. Next to them, these lovely things are Kalanchoes. I've always actually wanted to have them. Everybody has them here because they are hardy to this region. People keep them in their gardens, either in planters or directly in the ground or in pots, all through the year, and everything is okay. They don't suffer through the winter. It just prompts them to bloom in the spring, and they're just so lovely. So I got myself a few. These are so tiny, but they're just so cheap. I need to repot them, but I need to prepare the pots first. Also here I have some Carnations that I just received. I didn't buy this myself, and it will be a little tricky with these. I'm not sure if I can see them again next year, but I will definitely try. Always loved Carnations as well, but it's kind of tricky to keep them actually. And here we have my pride and joy. These are Fuchsias. Now, about 1 million years ago, I did have a fuchsia. I think I made a video on it in 2013, if I look through the archive. Well, that fuchsia died. And you know why? Because of spider mites. But at the time, I could not tell how the damage looked like. So I really wasn't sure what was affecting it. It was the very beginning of the spider mite apocalypse for me. I sadly lost it, but I do remember these really pretty flowers from childhood. Our grandmothers had them in their garden, and I've always loved them. And this year I decided I'm gonna give it a go. And we'll see how they do through the summer and also through the winter. I'm gonna try to make them flourish. And about these guys, these pots were €2.50 each. I'm baffled sometimes how cheap the other plants are in comparison to orchids. And this pot over here, which has 3 kinds of fuchsias, this is one, this is the other, and this is the third kind. It was €4.50. At this point, I'm starting to really appreciate the other flowers because you can buy so many of them at the price of an orchid. Anyway, so yeah, I decided to try out fuchsias once again. They are magnets for pests. That's the only downside, but I think I can handle it right now. I think I have more experience and know how to spot stuff, so we'll see how it goes. And here I have a hibiscus sent by my mother actually, together with the African violets. It is a red variety. It has multiple rows of petals and it is just lovely. I received 2 cuttings and they caught. They look beautiful. By the way, here's an update on the plumeria. She's doing great. She took a break in the winter time, lost all of her leaves, but she's doing great now. Now here, I have some seeds planted. So the first one is with pansies. Nothing sprouted. And I know what you might think. It's a little too late to put seeds in the ground, right? These are petunias. Some are simple, some are star-like. You know that color pattern? Please excuse my voice, but it's 6 o'clock in the morning. And here I have some dimorphotecas, which have already sprouted. The petunias started to sprout as well. And yet again, I know what you'll say, that I needed to start them on a seed tray or something. It's okay, I'm gonna see. This is just a test. I've never actually grown flowers from seed like this, so I just want to see what happens. And I'll just wing it. And here I have some snapdragon actually. I always loved snapdragons. The problem is they stay in bloom for a little bit, then they die off and it's next year. Petunias, on the other hand, and the dimorphotecas are in bloom pretty much all summer long, so I'm pretty excited about them. And here are my hibiscus. They're doing quite okay. Problem is they really didn't enjoy the winter. The only one that did great was this one, which was a cutting from somebody's garden. But the ones that I bought, the hybrids, they're a little weird. They bloom all the time, or they try to bloom. They create seed pods that I think I'm just gonna cut from now on because it drains energy. And they don't like winter much, so I think I'm just gonna have to bring them in the staircase. But they're kind of bouncing back right now. The only one that's suffering is this one. I also want to plant them separately. I think they don't have all that much space in the pot, and also I want to add slow release fertilizer. I forgot to show you these. These are seeds as well, and they're passion fruit seeds. I know it's kind of difficult to propagate them this way and you have a long wait ahead of you, but hey, I'm just experimenting. So I decided to get these coffee, or actually frappe type of containers, just to retain the humidity inside. There's nothing yet sprouting, but we'll see. Yet again, just a little test. As for the clay pots, I decided I will paint them. But if you guys would like to see a video on how I paint the clay pots, just let me know in the comments down below. I have a few prepared. I'm excited. It's really fun to paint pots. So yeah, let me know and I will surely make a video from it. So alrighty, that's what I'm up to on the terrace actually. Apart from all of the beautiful gardens around here, there's also another YouTube channel that always inspires me so much, and this is Garden Answer. Laura is great and I love to see all of her videos and learn about plants. So if you don't know that channel and you're interested in gardening and all of those things, check it out down below. It's so refreshing and so inspiring that, I just had to start my own little garden. And yeah, that's what I'm up to these days. And we'll see how it turns out. I'm gonna move around stuff, of course. This will not be their permanent location, but for now I'm just trying to set up things on the garden. We'll see how it goes. Let me know what you guys think. So alrighty, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know about the pots down below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe to my channel for regular orchids and plants videos. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. And with that said, I'll see you all next time. Bye! Here's another strange occurrence. This is my Tillumnia. It's the genting orange. Well, she's just producing a secondary branch that is yellow. And I mean it, there's no trace of orange anymore. These flowers are yellow. It's a genetic malfunction maybe, just a gene from her parentage showing off, but I was not expecting this. I'm not sad though. It's like having two Tillumnias in one. About her state, it improved a lot after I repotted it, but I'm thinking the old setup, which was pretty drying, was not helping it either. Since I moved it in the setup, things are looking much better.